Last night we had huge thunderstorms and blowing wind and trees. Look around at the trees.
Really not funny.
We see this in Durham now and then. Nothing, no wind, and that's a perfect, and it's a nice temperature too. This is just a beautiful night to run, so I'm expecting some big things here in the steeple in terms of time. We've got some good entries. We got 3 guys that have run in the low 840s, and we'll be introducing them as we get a chance to. There's always a little delay between the 2 steeple heats because they have to lower the barrier. Even on the water jump, they lower or raise the barrier, so it takes a little time to get ready, and then they got to give these guys a few tries over the barriers. You see these guys doing that right now.
So let's take a kind of a quick deep breath and look ahead to tomorrow. And from what you've seen so far, Coach, let's start on the women's side. Duke has shared the outdoor and indoor title the past 2 competitions. The outdoor last year was shared with Florida State. The indoor this season shared with Virginia Tech. Who do you see emerging right now on the women's side? Any big surprises from what's transpired?
I think the biggest surprise is Louisville women. They're running neck and neck with Duke right now. Now, the difference tomorrow is Duke's got all these potential points in all these finals. So I think their firepower will be a bit much. They did take a big hit in the hurdles today when Wakefield went down. Of course, that takes Wakefield out of the rest of the meet. She could have helped out in a 4x1 or whatever. So that was a big loss. But this just recent performance by Cole in the steeplechase really brought that all back. So Duke is still sitting where I thought they were, coming into the meet, which is, scoring 100 points plus, which will be good enough to win. And then, NC State still did not hurt themselves today. They had a good 10K yesterday, but they got tons of points coming up. They did really well in the heptathlon they scored today. And Miami's doing fine. So Miami, NC State giving Duke the best run, but Louisville's been surprising. Just the only problem is looking at the potential Saturday for Louisville. The points just aren't there.
And then as we get ready for the final men's event of the night, Virginia Tech just destroyed the field and the indoors. Are they in a position, as you get a good look at Ben Fleming, one of the favorites in this steeplechase, are they in a position to defend their title heading into the finale?
Ben Fleming in the steeplechase is huge for them. They could, if he could come away with a win, which is the definite possibility, that gives them so much momentum and hope going into Saturday. And don't think that's not a factor. You go to bed Friday night, your coach is having a meeting with you back at the hotel, and he said, "Hey, just look what Ben Fleming did for us." I also loved the run that we got in the 800 from Seb Anthony. That also a momentum builder. So they have a chance. That being said, Florida State's having a heck of a meet. So I would still pick Florida State on the men's side, Duke on the women's side going into the final day. Now let's watch this great steeplechase unfold in front of us.
A lot of big hitters when you look at the field here in the men's steeplechase. Final event of the night, Notre Dame with some guys that they think can get in there. Quinn GALLAGHER would be one of them. Tom SEITZER for the Fighting Irish. Zach KREFT. Yasin SADO of Virginia, the freshman. He has an 8:41.36, which is the second best time among the conference.
To me, the big story, though, in the ACC is the recent uplifting of their steeplechase program at Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
big credit to Brad Herbster. And they've got the 3rd and 4th fastest entries. And you see right now they're sitting in 2nd and 3rd. And they even have a 3rd guy, Miller, that can get it done. So Pittsburgh will have something to be said about these results as well.
Yeah, you mentioned the Panthers. They really like Evan ADDISON. He's the senior. He's the most experienced of the steeplechasers for Pitt. Did not take part in the outdoor season last year. In fact, when you factor in COVID, for ADDISON, his last steeplechase in these ACC outdoors was in 2019.
Yeah, all the way back when I was coaching, long time ago. But, Fleming, who, again, could be a part of this, he's biding his time early. He's on the inside, and he's about 6th or 7th place right now. And that's fine this early. But, it's a crowded field. You got 21 steeplechasers, or at least 21 were answering the call. And that's a crowded field. For years in the NCAA championships, they would put a maximum of 14 in the final. So the extra 7 runners make that water barrier that much more crowded, and sometimes you can get accidents. A little earlier on this lap here, and who gets clipped? It's There, that runner from Clemson goes down hard, and that's exactly what can happen when you got a crowded field.
Doesn't take much. A little clip, a little heel touching, shouldering as you're midair, whether it's over the water or one of these hurdles as we see them all clear through. It's just a lot to navigate around.
So SEITZER of Notre Dame, he doesn't want any part of that, so he's out in front and leading it. And that reminds us of the 10K last night when we had a Notre Dame runner trying to lead the whole way. It wasn't a winning strategy, but it was a gutsy strategy. And sometimes that's the best you can offer, is to make the pace hard and give yourself the best chance of success.
Yeah, Danny Kilray pretty much led from start to finish. He just couldn't quite hang on at the end with the big push by Mohammed of Florida State. Right now, SEITZER is your leader. Addison sitting very comfortably at number 2. We get our first look at Yasin SADO as well from Virginia. He had a lot of courting coming out of high school. Aurora, Colorado, you talk about altitude. He went on visits to UCLA, the University of Portland, Oklahoma State down in Stillwater. He ended up in Charlottesville because when he talked to Vin Lanata, he just had a really good communication connection right out of the gate. A lot of guys have when you look at the legendary career of Vin.
Vin Lanata has been recruiting young men for almost 50 years. I know I was one of the first that he tried to get. When I was a senior in high school, was Vin's second recruiting class, I believe.
Wow.
He didn't get me, but I knew his powers of persuasion. He's backed it up with a fantastic coaching career, many honors, and at some of the biggest schools in the country, Oregon, Stanford. He did amazing things at Dartmouth, and now he's taken his talents to Charlottesville.
And that's what's so funny when you look at Yasin. He actually had to go to his high school coach once Virginia reached out and ask about Coach Lanata and what he's been able to do. And the coach told him how he was at Oregon, at Stanford, how he coached national champions, the Olympic coach for the United States. He said, okay, I'm heading to Charlottesville. I want to run for that guy.
Probably one of his most unheralded accomplishments, but maybe his best, was he got a Dartmouth team with 0 scholarships on it to play second in the NCAA cross country. You just won't see that happen anymore.
Amazing.
SEITZER, though, he's no slouch. He's run 8:49, so he can hang in there. And now SADO approaching the lead. He's maybe feeling, okay, time for me to take over. We got like 3 minutes to go in this race.
Ben Fleming very quietly has maneuvered up into that 3 spot. SADO making a move now on the outside. Looks like he's going to overtake SEITZER for the first time, but Fleming is right where he wants to be for Virginia Tech. Much like Cole Beck, he is a local product, grew up in Blacksburg.
Fleming is tough. He's a great cross-country runner. He's trained over those hills of Blacksburg. He's got experience. He really does have, I think, these guys right where they want them. And I think the experience factor over SADO will come in the end. So you got Notre Dame, you've got Virginia, and you've got Virginia Tech up at the front. And then a whole pack of runners trying to hang in there and stay with it as they splash through the water barrier. About 2.5 minutes left in this race.
One surprise is we see Albert KOSGEI of Louisville. He is way back. He was one of the athletes to keep an eye on coming into this event.
Yeah, that is a little surprising for sure. KOSGEI has only run 8:55 this year, though, which is a far cry from his 8:34 PR. So he's just not in the form he used to be. And there's KOSGEI, as you said, next to the Duke runner and his other Louisville teammate. Yes, I think we can officially write him off in this event right now, but we can't write off SADO or Fleming. They're 1-2 now as they've moved away from SEITZER. You gotta like where Fleming is, just sitting off his shoulder, baby. SADO, Fleming, and now the other Virginia runner getting in there.
It's Nathan Mountain.
Nathan Mountain. Ain't no mountain high enough.
Mountain grew up a Virginia fan, and he grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio. Just absolutely loved Virginia basketball. So when track and field came calling, he was ready to answer that bell. And now a formidable 1-2 punch with SADO.
All right, coming up when we pass the start line here, it'll be 1 lap to go. And Fleming taking the lead for the first time.
The bell sounds, and here we go, the final 400 meters.
About 7:29 with 1 to go. They'll cover this lap pretty quick. So they're going to be in the 7:30s in this race, much like the race last year in Raleigh. Fleming looking great. Look at him extend the lead over that hurdle.
The experience of Fleming, the youth of Sado, what will win out here on this Friday night, the final event here in Durham.
I saw Sado just exhale there. I think he feels like he's got one more gear. It's going to come down to this water barrier, I think. Fleming in the lead. Gets over the water barrier first, puts a little distance on Sado. I think that was big.
Yeah, Sado stumbled a little bit as he landed.
A minute stumble, but enough to get him an extra yard. That might be what it's going to come down to. Sado, one more barrier now. Fleming gets it done.
Fleming with the lead. Virginia Tech desperately needing these 10 points, and Ben Fleming is going to bring it home to Blacksburg.
8:31.96. Excellent performance. A really well-measured response, patience, timing, and a deliverance of a great kick. And the Hokies are still in this thing, keeping the pressure on Florida State, at least overnight.
Personal best time by Fleming, 8:31.97. And these runners just taking advantage of a gorgeous night to turn in some eye-popping numbers when you look at what they've done in the past.
And if you want to know what his last 400 was, with 4 barriers, he went 61.9. Tried doing that on the flat at the end of a 3,000-meter race. He just did 61.9 with the barriers. All right, this is the second to last. No, this is the final stretch. There he is, going to his arms. He knows it's over. Sado's just trying to hang on his second. Driving to the line, 8:31.97. Big 10 points for the Hokies.
Virginia Tech won this event last year. Fleming makes sure that gold tent stays in Blacksburg. 2 straight years for the Virginia Tech program winning the steeplechase. You take a look at the finale. Fleming, personal best, 8:31.97. The youngster from Virginia settles for silver. Brett Gardner out of nowhere comes in for the bronze. Let's swing it down to Haley. She's with Ben.
Ben, wow, what a strong finish there. How were you able to come back and finish strong in those last 400 meters there?
We have a great coaching staff at Tech, and every single workout we do, we always work on, every rep. Last rep is going to be the hardest one. Everyone's going to turn over quick, and I knew if I had it with 400 to go, my speed over the hurdles would be enough. But yeah, it was kind of risky because the UVA guy Yasin, he's an incredible athlete. Just broke 4. He's super good. But here at Tech, they set us up to do stuff like that. Championship racing, that's what we do.
You take a look back at your times in this event. You've improved so much over these past few years. What does the training look like to get to this point where you're at now?
Each year we just start doing steeple stuff earlier and earlier. Lots and lots of L7. That's what it is. Flexibility. Make it look as effortless as possible, and just keep. I have excellent training partners. You saw Ben EWERT, Declan RYMER. Those are my guys. Those are my steeple boys. And Fitz, past 2 years, won this event, and he's been hyping me up all year for this, and so this is definitely partly for him too. Yeah, just our training group is incredible. Virginia Tech, we're trying to make it the place for steeple. We're trying to make it steeple you know.
And the training shows. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Sean.
Well, they are becoming the place for the steeple. Fitz won the title last year. Now it is Ben Fleming's turn. He bleeds Blacksburg. It's a Virginia Tech family when you look at the Flemings. A sister, Jen, who was part of the track and field program, had a couple of uncles wrestle for Virginia Tech, and now Ben has won an ACC title. The Hokies